to Dream It, Do It. It's day 14, which means we're 2 weeks into this brand new year, 2022. How are you getting on with everything? Today I want to talk to you about all things money. Yes, we are broaching the subject of finances. And my first question to you is, when you did your Wheel of Life exercise the other day, what did you grade yourself for finances? Now for me, I put myself down as a 5. I'm pretty happy with where I am, but I would definitely like to be attracting more income and more wealth and more money into my life. When I was back in secondary school, a wise teacher once said to me that the way to stay in control of your money is actually very simple. The key is never spend more than you earn. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense, but so many of us can fall into the trap of using credit cards or taking out loans and not necessarily knowing what's coming in and what's going out. And it can very easily happen that we spend more than we make. Money is such a huge topic to cover, and it can be quite emotive too. I couldn't possibly go over all of the different things that there are to cover about money in today's video, but I have just narrowed down a few tips for you to apply in the first instance. Let's say these are just the initial basics to get you feeling like you are in control of your money. So what I want us to do today is to take stock of exactly where we are at right now, today, with our finances. Now you may already know all of this, but if you don't, or you've got a little bit of doubt over any of the things, make today the day that you have another look so that you know exactly what is happening with your money coming in and your money going out. And that gives us the power to then be able to make some critical decisions about what we do with our money moving forwards. So I'm going to screen share a worksheet that I've prepared for us today. You could write this out in your notebook if you prefer, or I've got it available at my website. I'm going to drop the link below. So let's have a look at it now. You'll see at the top I've popped never spend more than your income. The first thing that we're going to do is get all of the information about our income and write it down on here. I've put 2 columns, a monthly column and an annual column. Ideally, we want to get the annual column filled in, but if you already just know the annual information, you don't have to worry about going backwards and working it out on a monthly basis. Sometimes it's easier if you know, oh, my salary is £1,000 a month, just to write that in and then multiply it by 12 to get the annual amount. That's why I've put the 2 columns. So we're going to go through and put down any income that you currently have on a regular basis. So this is expected income for the rest of this year, or for a full year. So you've got any income from employment, if you get any interest from savings, if you take dividends on investments, or indeed if you are a company director and you withdraw dividends that way, any other business income that you make. And then I've just put a section for other, because there's probably lots of other income categories that I didn't know to list out here. So anything else you've got, ways that income comes to you, pop it here and put it in the annual column. So you're looking to get an annualized figure for each of those things. And then at the bottom where it says total income, you're just going to add up the annual column and write the amount of total income that you anticipate in a year. Next, the slightly less fun part is having a look at our expenses, our anticipated expenses. Again, I've listed out a whole host of different types of expenses that you may have. I've probably missed some, so again I've got the other catch-all category at the bottom for anything that I may have missed. Just add things together if there's several different categories that fall under your other. Work out the annual amounts for each of those and then sum it in the total expenses box. Once you've got the total income and the total expenses, I want you to write those in the boxes at the bottom. You're going to take your income, you're going to subtract your expenses, and that should hopefully leave you either at zero or ideally a positive figure, so that your income is higher than your expenses. If you get a negative figure at this point, this is where you really need to take some significant action now, because you cannot sustain spending more than you're having coming in. It's just not practical. You will end up in debt, and debt is not a good place to be. I've been there, believe me, you don't want to be there. Now, there are some forms of debt which are planned for and anticipated. For example, a mortgage is a form of debt, but many people have a mortgage, and it's okay because it's planned for. We plan for those regular payments as long as you know where you are at with it. But the kind of debt that you do not want to have is debt that has really high interest payments, or debt that can start to spiral out of control. And we always want to be in a situation where we are getting more money in each month than we are spending out, so that we can build up a pot. And that pot is going to be used, and I can talk about this in the future, for various different things. But you want to have an emergency fund. You want to be able to save for future fun things that you would like to do for you and your family. You may want to give to charity, and you may want to save up for your financial independence, which is something that I'm very passionate about. So once you've filled out this sheet and you've got your figure, the next thing is to have a look at this second sheet, where it's kind of a bit of an action sheet to think about, what can I do to reduce my expenses and what can I do to increase my income? And in both of those cases, I've popped some ideas for how you can reduce your expenses and increase your income. So examples for reducing your expenses: you could cut any unused subscriptions that you have. You may find that you've got a magazine subscription or a food box subscription that you're not really taking the best advantage of. Think about cutting those out if you're not using them. You can reduce ad hoc spending, like that coffee that you get in the coffee shop once a week, or any impulse buys that you don't really need but it kind of feels good at the time. You could switch suppliers to try and get better deals for things like your energy and utility bills. And if you have a TV subscription service, such as with Sky, or a cable subscription that's contracted, they are quite often pretty pricey, and you may find you're not using all of the channels in your package. So look at reducing the package, or even something that we did about a year ago was we cut it completely. We decided to end our contract, and we've just gone to digital streaming now. So we have an Apple TV and we stream services like ITV and the BBC, and we just pay a much smaller amount for a couple of streaming services of our choosing, like Netflix and Disney Plus, things like that. You can also opt to pay for bills annually instead of monthly. In many cases, doing that, you will pay less overall than if you pay monthly. Finally, if you do have any debt, look for ways to consolidate it and reduce the interest on the debt, and ideally be looking to get that debt paid off as soon as you can, so that you're not paying interest for money that you owe. You want that money to work for you elsewhere. So that's ways that you can reduce expenses. Ideas for increasing your income. There's quite a lot of different ways actually that you can increase money coming into you. And don't forget the manifestation video that I did a couple of days ago, working on attracting income to you from unexpected sources. But practical, tangible ways that you can attempt to increase your income. If you are in a paid employment, you can always ask for a pay increase, work towards a new promotion, or if that's not working for you, you can look around, because often changing jobs is one of the ways that you will get an increase in your salary if your employer isn't able to offer that to you. You can also look at increasing your work hours to therefore increase the amount of money that you're bringing in. You could take a second job. Or, one of my favourites, you could start a side hustle business or several side hustle businesses. I think having multiple income streams is a fantastic way to protect yourself for the future. And this is something that I've been working on for a few years now. You could also move any savings that you have into an interest account that's got a higher interest rate. It's not the best time to do that because interest rates are still pretty low, but it does pay to shop around and see if you can find a deal maybe, especially if you're happy to lock in for a number of months or years. And you can also consider, if you've got quite a lot of savings and they're not invested, use some of those to invest. For example, in the UK, in an ISA is a great way to do it. It's a tax efficient way of investing in the stock exchange. You could invest, for example, in low interest index funds, which I personally think is a great way to get started with investing. Now, I'm definitely not a financial advisor and I'm not giving you financial advice. You definitely need to do your own research, but there is a lot of websites and YouTube channels and blogs out there that can help you with working out where the best place is to put your money. On the whole, in the longer term, you will find that you'll get a better return on investment if you invest your money than if you keep it in a savings account. But obviously money can go up and down, so it depends how imminently you might need to use that money. If you can leave your money invested for a longer period of time, personally, I think that is a great idea to do. So money is just a thing that you give to people in return for a service or product, or it's a thing that comes to you in return for a service or product. You don't need to think of it as any more complicated than that. It's simply a tool that enables you to buy things and sell things in a simple way. Ultimately, for me, money equals freedom. The more money that I have, that I can have saved and invested, the more I feel that I've got time freedom, that I don't need to go and get a job or work for others or work to create products. So when I say freedom, it definitely equates to time freedom for me, and that is something that is the most important thing, because there's one resource that we all have exactly the same of, and that's time. And when it's gone, it's gone. So for me, and I would suggest to you as well, time is your most precious asset and you should make the most of it. And the more money that you can accumulate and have saved and behind you, the more time freedom you will feel that you have. That's everything that I have to say on money for today. I hope that you found this video useful. What are your thoughts on money? Have you opted to do the income and expenses exercise? Let me know if you're happy to share. How did it come out? And what things are you going to do moving forwards from today to increase your income or reduce your expenses? I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please do give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be back tomorrow for, I think it's the midpoint of Dream It, Do It. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to say bye for now.